Hola amigos y amigas, you are now with Jocelyn, and as always, I am so grateful that you are here, that you press play on one of my videos. I always just love acknowledging the fact that even though we're not together in person, we're still exchanging energy through these digital frequencies. So it's so important to be mindful of that, and I also just want to thank you for bringing me into your present moment. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. You already know all the goodness we're going to be getting into. And if you are new here, welcome. I, again, am so grateful you're here and that you aligned with my channel. I hope that you end up loving and enjoying this video so much that you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of my other videos that I drop every single week, and that you end up subscribing to my channel and joining my growing community. In this video, we are going to be getting into not one, not two, not three, but 8 journal prompts for this upcoming full moon in Aquarius that we have taking place on July 23rd, I believe. Depending on where you are in the world and what your time zone is, it could be the 24th, so you want to check on that. But y'all, these prompts are so good, and they are channeled and written and created and shared with the intention to really just help guide you in your full moon ritual, in your journaling and reflection. So I hope that you end up resonating with one or more of these journal prompts and that they genuinely do assist you. And if they do, please let me know in the comments below. I love creating and cultivating community in the comment section and connecting with you all. So if you end up using one or more of these prompts, let me know in the comments below. But without further ado, y'all, let's get into these journal prompts. What new beginnings were seeded in late December of 2020, and how are these seeds currently doing? This Aquarius full moon is illuminating the themes that we visited amongst the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn that took place in late December of 2020. And right now, amongst this full moon is really just the perfect time for us to revisit those seeds that we planted. I already know that so many of us, if you reflect back on that time, felt this shift taking place in the collective, individually, that we are still currently feeling to this day. I still bring up this great conjunction often in conversations and in my videos because, y'all, really, nothing has been the same since then. And so much transformation and evolution and revolution has been taking place since the Great Conjunction. And it was also around the new year. I know that we had this feeling of new beginnings and new cycle, and we're really intentional about the seeds that we were planting around that time. So I want to encourage you with this prompt to revisit those seeds that you planted. How are they doing? Are they growing? Do some of them need watering? Do some of them need to be pulled out? Are some of them dead already? Which ones do you want to revive? Which ones do you want to let go of? So this is honestly a prompt that I recommend all of us to do. Revisit your seeds, check on your garden, and see which ones you want to move forward with. If I were to describe my recent emotional state of being as a landscape, what would this landscape be? And I really want you all to be specific and as detailed as possible with this one. Like, really have fun with it, be explorative, be imaginative, and see this as kind of like a new way to connect with your emotional state of being. I feel like there's been so much evolution regarding our emotional consciousness, and there's been a lot of emotional intensity at this time. And given that this is a full moon where there's going to be full illumination on aspects of our lives that need to be confronted, I wanted to hold space for our emotions in a fun way. For those of you that watch my previous full and new moon journal prompts, you know that I love to encourage envisioning your connection to your body and your spirit and these kinds of themes in a fun way. So be imaginative, be explorative, be as specific as possible. What does this landscape feel like? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What is the weather like? What is the development like? Like, just really get specific with it, y'all, and have fun. In what areas of my life have I recently experienced breakdowns? And in what areas of my life have I recently experienced breakthroughs? I know that we have all been having both of these. We've been having breakthroughs and we've been having breakdowns. And I don't want my journal prompts to just be all love and light. I really want these journal prompts to genuinely get you to confront and hold space for and reflect on your lights and your shadows. And there's so much to learn in the light and in the darkness, y'all. And though it could be tough thinking about our breakdowns, we're also thinking about our breakthroughs. So this is a very much so duality themed prompt, and it's an important one during this time. So I hope that for those of you that picked this one, really see the light in it all and allow yourself to revisit those breakthroughs. I mean, those breakdowns that in the end really are assisting you and your alignment with your highest potential. Because y'all, that's what this is all about. Our evolution, our darkness, our shadow work, the tough times, the adversity. There's a lesson in it all. So let's reflect on our breakdowns as much as we reflect on our breakthroughs. And we're holding space for both of them in this prompt, which I think is really beautiful. In the pursuit of becoming my most authentic self, what fears have arisen? So I know that we have all been gaining a deeper sense of self through the transitions and transformations that we are each and collectively experiencing and going and growing through. And we're going to be touching on this on other prompts as well, and we already have, but there's this big theme taking place really throughout this year, but we really feel it intensely at this time of us really returning home to ourselves in many different ways. We are not necessarily becoming more of someone we're not, but becoming more of the person that we truly are, that is already within us, but we are shedding and releasing and rediscovering this self that has been within us and honestly carries our highest potential, our higher self. I always say, y'all, remember, like, you are your higher self. Your higher self isn't someone outside of you, it's someone within you. And so we're all on this path of becoming more and more our most authentic selves. And I know that because it requires so much shedding and evolving and transformation, and transformations come with change. Transformations come with uncertainty. They come with fears. I want us to not turn a blind eye on the fact that we have some fears coming up with the changes we're experiencing. We have some fears coming up with the transformation that we have been and are continuing to go through. So this prompt is keeping it real with y'all, keeping it real with yourself. And for those of you who feel like you have it in you to really acknowledge what those fears are, I hope that you really embrace this prompt. I think it's really important, and I honestly encourage all of you to do this prompt because I know that we have all been experiencing fears, and we're human, y'all. Like, it's natural. We are all in this together, honestly, as alone as you may feel at this time in your journey. So let's be honest with ourselves in this prompt. When and where do I feel called to journey in solitude? When and where do I feel called to journey in community? I feel like there's been this sense of duality in many different aspects of our current evolution and transformation. It's like we feel so alone, but we also feel so connected. It's like we feel this strong desire to be in solitude and really take care of these moving parts in our lives and these shifts and like really integrating them on our own. But we also have this deep desire to be in community. So this is what this prompt is all about, is just kind of acknowledging like, okay, in what areas of my life and in what ways do I feel like I want to be surrounded by community? Do I feel like I want to journey through it with community? And in what areas of my life do I feel like I want to go through this alone? And I feel like there's a lot of insight in that, in realizing, oh, in these areas, I really just want to go through it alone. And also taking it a step further and asking yourself why. Why do I feel called to do this alone? And why do you feel called to do this in community? How is my higher self already showing up and taking up space in my life? For those of you who feel like there's a part of you that's kind of stuck in the past, like you're really having to put effort into transitioning out of, but also have this sense of like, I'm already this new self. It's like this push and pull, this tug and pull of different versions of ourselves and different aspects of our lives. And I want us to really put some more attention on our higher selves and how that newfound sense of self is already showing up, and in what ways, and what does that look like? What does that feel like? With all of these prompts, y'all, get as specific and detailed as possible. So in this prompt, we're really holding space for our higher selves and reflecting on how our higher selves are already showing up. And after you're done journaling this prompt, take some time to celebrate, like, wow, whatever you end up journaling for this prompt, like that is proof of your evolution that has been taking place. Like you really are moving forward. You really are evolving. You really are transforming into this new version of yourself. So celebrate that. Celebrate whatever it is that you end up writing down and how your higher self is already you, which is so awesome. So I hope that y'all really enjoy this one. What decisions feel risky and sacrificial, but intuitively feel right? It's like there's these certain movements, certain moves, certain decisions that we honestly feel so called to do, but bring so much uncertainty at the same time. It's like there's this strong certainty and strong uncertainty. But this awakening that we're all experiencing is leading us to become more and more heart-centered, leading us to be more trusting of our intuition, that we're going more and more towards what we feel called to do, regardless of how sacrificial or risky it may feel, regardless of how many fears it may be bringing up. And gentle reminder, the triggers and fears that come up in our evolution, our opportunities, are showing us what it is that we need to heal. So just throwing that out there. But in this prompt, I just wanted us to acknowledge which of those decisions come up with those kind of contradictory emotions, because I'm all about acknowledging, y'all. I use that word a lot for a reason, because it's so important for us to intentionally shed light on these aspects of our lives that are both light and darkness, shadow and evolved, unevolved, transitioning, fully transitioned, evolving, fully evolved. Like Really, y'all, the more that we take the time to intentionally reflect and hold space and acknowledge all the aspects, all the moving parts of our lives, the more that we become aware of what we have going on internally and externally. And the first step towards growth is awareness. So, y'all, which decisions feel risky and sacrificial, but also like, you got to do this? Like, even though you don't know how it's all going to work out, you don't know how it's all going to play out, you don't know exactly why maybe you even feel called to do this, but you do. What are those decisions? What are those moves that you really feel intuitively called to move forward with, but bring a lot of unknown in your life? Let's shed some light on that. What do I currently feel absolutely certain about when it comes to my direction, my character, and my values? There is a lot of uncertainty, and we are touching on that in some of the other prompts. But I also want to touch on and hold space for the certainty that we do feel. We've touched on in one of the other prompts what it is that we really feel called to do. And in this prompt, I just really want us to hold space for what we're certain about ourselves at this time. What values do we feel certain about upholding and respecting and creating boundaries for, non-negotiables for? Our character. What aspects of our character do we feel absolutely certain about? And our direction. Even though many of us feel some senses of uncertainty and unknowingness of how our direction is exactly going to unfold, there is some certainty that we have. And I really want us to stand tall while journaling this prompt. Yes, I may have some uncertainties, and that is human. That is inevitable. I'm not going to know everything. You're not going to know everything. But there are some things that we feel absolutely certain about at this time. And I know that a lot of the certainties that we do feel at this time are reflective of this newfound sense of self that we are becoming. So, y'all, let's stand tall in our certainties and be proud of our certainties and affirm our certainties. And that, my friends, are the 8 journal prompts for this upcoming full moon in Aquarius. As I mentioned earlier in this video, if you ended up resonating with one or more of these prompts, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to know which ones you resonated with, which ones you ended up journaling, which ones really called to you. And I mention this in all of my journal prompt videos. You don't have to do all of them. It can feel or seem overwhelming, and it can be overwhelming to do all of these prompts because they are so deeply reflective. And if you do all of them, that is so freaking awesome. I know there's some of you who end up telling me that you ended up doing all of them, and I love that. But for those of you who feel pressure to do all of them, or else you're not going to get the most out of this full moon, no. I mentioned this before, but we're not on the tip of exhausting ourselves anymore, all right? We are evolved beyond that. So do the ones that you feel called, do the ones that you really resonate with, and journal the prompts that you feel are really going to be challenging to you, but in an encouraging and enlightening way, because that is what these reflections are all about. That is what journaling is all about. That's what this full moon is all about, is enlightenment. And that's what these full moon rituals, new moon rituals, lunation rituals are all about, is really holding space for the light that is being illuminated from the moon. In a way, we are our own moons illuminating aspects on our lives. We are absorbing the energy of the moon, the light of the moon, and we are becoming and embodying and illuminating and emitting the light of the moon that we are absorbing, that we're taking in intentionally, and choosing to focus and place attention on what it is that we feel called to place attention on. So I am so proud of all of you for even just aligning with this video, because it tells me that you care about your self-evolution. It tells me that you practice self-care, that you are trying to heal, you're trying to become better, and that you are acknowledging the fact that you are transforming, you are evolving. And I think that's so beautiful. I'm so grateful of the kind of people that I attract to my channel, because we're all here just trying to be better, trying to understand ourselves, trying to heal. And I love that for us. We're already on our way. We're already healing because we're here. We're showing up for ourselves. And in showing up for ourselves, we're showing up for each other. So I hope that you all gain some clarity on the themes, the overall energy of this full moon. I encourage you to check out my weekly energy reading that I uploaded earlier this week. The full moon definitely shows up in that reading. And y'all, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope that you love these prompts as much as I love creating them and sharing them with you. And I hope to see you. I'm excited to see you in my next video. Blessed Aquarius full moon, everybody. Be graceful with yourselves, be gentle with yourselves, and be proud of yourselves, okay? We're on our way. We are on our way. Bye, y'all.